Today we are going to do a build that I honestly didn't think we are going to do at all. And we are going to do it inside of this Raidmax. I don't want to say anything wrong. Wait, it's called the Meshian X603. It's a very nice case, I really have to say, but still, I didn't think we are going to do this at all. And we'll talk about why, but first, what else is going inside? So I just wanted to do a bit of a blackout build because the case already comes with a ton of RGB. We have 3 RGB fans in the front, we have 1 in the back. So I didn't want to overdo the whole RGB part, so we are going all black parts. And the first thing is the motherboard. We are going AMD this time, and we are going with the X670E PG Lightning because it is all freaking black. It is a beautiful board. There is nothing to it except for its blackness, so why the hell not? Then for the CPU we have the Ryzen 7 600E, which I can't get out of the box. Great, because A, why not? And because a 7600X is like one of the most baseline Ryzen 7000s you can get, and we are going a bit overboard on the GPU, so it's like a, how should I say, all GPU and minimum CPU, and the motherboard isn't as expensive as you might believe, so everything does kind of make sense. Then for the RAM we have the G-Skill Trident Z5 Neo, because they were perfectly fine with Ryzen. Then we have the mandatory Samsung SSD, and for the GPU, and this is going to be the nicest looking part, we are going back to our Gainward RTX 4080 Phantom, because it's a giant piece and I love this card. It's like the second time I will install this one, and I just love the look. 2 fun facts about this card. It has the most brutal fan ramp up I have ever seen. Like, even if you control the GPU fan speed in something like Afterburner, it won't just ramp up to the speed. It will slowly go up there, but not this card. No, if there you set like from 0 to 100, it will go. It is completely crazy, this one. And the second fun fact is I have no clue where the octopus is. Where did I put the octopus? Octopus. 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 Found it. While I'm putting all of this together, let me tell you the story why I didn't believe that we would do this build like at all. So we were in contact with Raidmax a couple of months ago. It was a couple of months, and they reached out to us and asked if we wanted to have a look at some of their stuff, their seats, their cases, their AIOs, whatever, and we were fine, yeah, sure, why not? The case alone looked promising enough to make an interesting video about it. And they sent over their stuff, but they said they would send a case and a AIO, so that's what I expected. However, when the package arrived, it was just an AIO, so I was a bit confused, but it's not really uncommon that things are shipped separately. So I waited and waited and waited, and I postponed and postponed the production of the case review because I knew that we are going to do this build here, and it would make so much sense to use the AIO in combination with the case just to have the nice look. However, nothing arrived. Even a month after, I waited and waited, but nothing. Then at some point, I was planning my yearly vacation, and I needed to have some content ready for that time, so I decided, yeah, bad for them, but I'm going to do the case video without having B-rolls with the AIO in it. So I started everything, and I unboxed the case, which was fine, and after I came out, it wasn't just wrapped in the usual but higher quality styrofoam, but it was also full of this, but really full. Like, it was unnaturally full for an empty case. This is normal if you, for example, get a pre-build and you get a ready PC. They need to put all of that stuff so that the GPU doesn't bend, so that nothing like breaks or anything. But for empty cases, it's usually empty. However, once I opened it up, this here just fell out, which apparently is every part of an AIO except for the package. I guess they wanted to save on shipping and they just put everything inside of the case, which made me postpone the video so many freaking times. But hey, this is the Raidmax Infinita 360 LS360 ARGB. Okay, so this is what we are going to use for cooling, and at this point also a bit of an apology to Raidmax that I postponed this video so many freaking times for nothing. You should have told me. I wouldn't have done that. So how do we need to do this? Because as you can see, I've never used this AIO. This is like a first time. It's using the original backplate. That makes stuff easy. Except for the fact that it uses like the older clamping system, which I really don't like, but what can you do? Ready. Oh no, it comes with the same proprietary crap that Fantex cases come with. And I do not like this. Let me guess, the fans come too, great. Yeah, now I have no clue where to put all of this. But okay. Okay, the AIO seems to be ready, and it seems that the shipping inside of a case wasn't particularly great for it. Like there are a ton of bent things on here, but not too bad, and the liquid is still in, so it will survive. But everything is ready, so now let's open up the case and slap everything in there. But before we slap it in there, fans and fan orientation. Yeah, we are going for this. So fans, cable in this direction here. Those are weird ass fans, like everything here is just whole. I don't think that's like the best scenario for static pressure if the air can just bounce back. Yeah, when we got the case, except for the AIO being in there, we also got the absolute minimum of special goodies. But hey, at least we got some screws. That's something. Oh, those are for the SSD for 2.5-inch drives. Now I get it. Yeah, not play it, but like if the back panel just falls out once you unscrew it, it means the rails here are not particularly well made. Oops. Let's slap the motherboard in before I kill any more stuff. It's really not my day. I'm letting all the things fall. Before we slap in the AIO, this case has a very... it has a feature that is present on a lot of cases out there, but for the price point, I really haven't seen that. So these two holes here are not just giant holes to look at the side panel of the case. Those are fan holes, or fan spots. They are fan spots. And if you are doing it in the orientation that we are today, so inlet in the front and then out in the top and in the back, these spots are best to be used as an intake. So we have all of the air blasting in here, and then the AIO in the top can pull it out, and the back fan too. Now you could also reverse them, but if you do that without the radiator in the front, all you would do is take the cold air and just blast it out, which doesn't make any sense. So we are going to do inlets there. Now, the usual approach is just to turn around a fan. However, what I also still have are these reverse spinning Montag fans, used for the exact same purpose. So that's what we are going to slap in there. Yeah, that should work. Let's slap those in. And this comes with the great side effect of hiding all of that messy cable in the back. Great, except for these holes, which could have been closed off, but they didn't. But hey, it's a budget case. What can you expect for a budget case? Great. Now, moment of truth. How good or how well does the case allow me to install the CPU power cable? Oh wow, we got a lot of space here. Wow, this was a lot easier than I expected. Wow, great. Okay, almost everything is in there now, so I think it's time for the AIO, followed by those god forbidden AMD clamps. No, the damn protective film doesn't want to peel. Okay, so let's mount this in the top somehow, and then we will figure out the rest later. Doop, doop, doop. Great. Oh boy, I just cleaned all of this up just to be left with all of this again. And now let's pull all of this into the bag, which isn't very big to begin with, which is going to be a nightmare to cable manage. Okay, time for those damn clamps. This double paste is very liquid. Oh, that was not particularly hard. I think I remembered this harder than it actually is. Now all of this here to the back, this here to the water pump one. Almost done. Okay. Last part of this whole thing is going to be the GPU. Now, I'm not particularly happy how Raidmax did the whole GPU part. Like, they slapped two freaking fan spots on there while there is no air that could come up from the bottom, so you would just pick up like whatever is coming from here, which just it doesn't make a lot of sense. But my biggest issue is that there is no hole for the GPU cable, and given where we are nowadays, that's a huge problem, and I'm just not particularly happy about that. Yeah, the octopus comes out somewhere here, so I will need to route all of the octopus through this little hole. This is going to be a nightmare no matter how I do it. And this is also the reason why I haven't done like any theme builds in a while, because everything is destroyed by the octopus anyway. It's... who decided that we need to do that as an industry? But at least we get the satisfaction of still doing... quickly before it breaks. Quickly before it breaks. Ta-da! Yeah, that's one of the nice things about cases built like this. Nowadays, with cards that are as huge as this 4080, for example, this intake fan here does make a lot of sense because it is pushing air directly beneath the GPU, where these fans here can pick it up. Like the front one won't pick up anything from there, but you have very clean air coming in partially from the bottom, and that should result in some nice thermals. Though, let's be honest, the card is so huge, it wouldn't really change anything. It's kinda very well cooled anyway. Oh, f me. This is the wrong octopus. This is the octopus from my 3090 Ti. Where is the octopus from the 4080? Okay, after looking for a bit too long and swearing a bit too much, I decided to give up, and I just took the octopus from my 4090, my Zotac Trinity whatever 4090. And I guess it will work, but it comes with one 8-pin more. But as far as I know, having one or less just gives you one or less more pins here in the top, giving you then more potential performance. And as far as my understanding goes, this is just relevant if you have higher end cards, where if you take the 3 cable one, you will not be allowed to go full blast. But if you take a lower end card that comes with a 3 cable octopus instead of a 4, this shouldn't change anything, but as long as it works, I guess. It's just a lot harder to get everything in because it is so much freaking bigger. Finally. Let's just hope that I didn't destroy the back panel when I threw it off the table. Oh yeah, I forgot the thing about budget cases and high-end builds. They do not work particularly well together. It's a build. Now, I don't know what you think about this whole thing, but I have to say, for me, I'm really happy. It does have the budgety look, definitely has, but for the price point of all of this, it's alright. We did go complete overboard on the GPU, that's really true, but that's essentially what I would have done as a teen. Like, get the most affordable case, entry-level CPU, and then the biggest GPU that I can afford, and that would have been something that I would have done. Now for the thermals, I really don't want to talk about the AIO, because we did not have the opportunity yet to review it, due to where it was stored, so I really don't want to get into that. The only thing I can say, because we have already done the whole review part of this, and we did use this with a Nokia NH-U12A, yeah, and there was no difference in thermals, in or outside the case, and that's essentially what I want to see. Being inside of a case lowers the thermals, then the case has an issue. That's essentially what I'm measuring when I'm doing these. And in this case, there was no like reduction in temperature. I guess because of that side intake, the front is alright, but we have such huge masses coming in that it just doesn't matter. And the same thing for the triple 120 AIO in the top. Like, there is so much air coming in from the front that no matter how hot, for example, the GPU gets, there is more than enough air traveling or passing by, so that's really fine. And I'm also quite happy about the intake. Like, you can, about the bottom front intake, you can feel air coming in here. You have air being pressed into the case, like from the back of the side panel, you can see the holes, and then the front fan is pushing it back. So the first fan, or the last fan, depending on how you look at it, but the fan here from the GPU is picking up all of that air, blasting it through, where it then, in this case, is mixed with the ambient, or with the air traveling here, and then going out through the AIO. So you have a bit of recycling happening, sure, but give it the 360 form factor, and it's not going to cause any problems. So I'm really glad about the case. I'm not so happy with the cable management in the back, and I will say a word or two about this in the review. Or for example, the missing GPU cable hole. Yes, I could have routed it through like the space where you could mount the radiator, but then the cable would travel like sideways, which just looks odd, and then no. But for the rest, the AIO is fine. Cables are nicely sleeved, or at least they feel nice. We are going to talk more about that in the review about the AIO, which I can now do. Great. So yeah, sorry, but no talk about CPU temperature. That just, yeah, would spoil the other video. But for today, let's just enjoy how this thing looks. I think it looks really great. I like it. But what do you think? Do you like this? Or what would you have done differently in this thing? I'm just guessing giving the GPU something to hold on to, because this sag is... I don't feel comfortable with this. Do I have something? No. Yeah, I don't have anything here. I would just keep it like this, yeah. So at this point, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the build, and I hope you liked how it turned out. But you tell me in the comments, and hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.